All right.
Yep. So you had a pretty full on experience trying to come here because what we're trying to do now at gyms is we've got this international pathway where you could basically, as you said, you're trying to buy a business. Well, with us, you could do the inquiry online and you can basically attend one of the seminars and we'll get you to come in via the training program and you can do it in accredited trawls with our RTO. And then at the end of the RTO, actually, if you want to, you can do your own business. So would that have been interesting to you reckon, if you come across it back in the day?
Oh, absolutely. Because of my experience now, I mean, Tim's is the biggest household name in Australia, and we started up in other countries like New Zealand and UK and Canada because it's such a powerful brand. Have I known of the options when I was in South Africa? The thing is, I mean, I follow these South Africans these South African forums on Facebook and everywhere, and people ask questions the whole time because they hear. I mean, there's so many thousands of people that's basically immigrated, and there's a lot of people out there that really, really want to make the journey, but they simply don't know where to start. They don't know, job wise or business wise. A lot of people are business orientated down in South Africa, and if they could just be informed better, on certain forums or from different businesses like gyms, for example, right? And we've got 52 different divisions. They can certainly go through the categories and see what they can do. I think it's great if we can, just put something out there to inform them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what they're hoping to do with this. Sounds fantastic now. So whatever it was doing, it was interfering with the whole time. So keep what you got on, and we'll probably have to go over the intro again, but that's all right. We'll keep going and we'll circle
Yeah.
back around to it. So, but yeah, as you said, because you said then South Africans are really business minded, which is something I've noticed as well from working here for 11 years. A lot of our South African franchisees and franchisors come from really good business experience. So, do you think if they were looking into coming into Australia, the gym's vehicle is something that they could really get their teeth into with that business experience a lot quicker than having to start afresh?
Oh, massively. Because what struck me about gyms, Joel, when I started, I remember when I did the generic training, I was just amazed that for such a low cost, you can start a business. All right. You can go see business brokers and you can buy businesses for hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. This is a service orientated industry. And like you said, like I explained, people in South Africa are hard workers. It's a fight for survival. It's, they by nature, they're just hardworking people. And, you know, with this big platform we have with gyms, they can certainly go through the 52 and see where their skills fit them best and start a small business. You know, not everyone has got qualifications, but we have so many businesses you don't need qualifications. All right, so that's just like, I was amazed that we have this, and if I discovered this 17 years ago, I would have rather done this than try to go get a job or something. Because even in the workforce, you got to start from scratch. You can't if you've been a manager for 10 years in South Africa, they're not going to accept you to be in a manager role here because it's new cultures, new systems, new processes. Everything is different. So you basically got to start from scratch. So starting a little business of your own, it's a great opportunity, man.
How would you describe the lifestyle? Like you're in WA and there's a large South African community in WA for people who might not know, but how would you describe the lifestyle you've got coming from South Africa to Australia? Maybe do you want to talk about what you do in your free time and how would you overall describe it for someone who's maybe in South Africa watching this?
My hobbies in South Africa was nature and conservation and camping and outdoors. And we've got the big five, and we've got the best of the world in animals and wildlife, mate. Something I thoroughly miss. But when we looked in immigration, we looked into, all right, where's temperature more or less the same? So we ended up in Perth. Now that we know whole of Australia, we see, Sunshine Coast and Queensland and so many places where we say, oh, we could have ended up there, we could have ended up there, but we absolutely love the beaches down here in WA, and we love my outdoor. I know we've got lots of kangaroos, and I think rats comes in different sizes and shapes here in Australia. You miss the wildlife, but mate, living is just a breeze. Joel, a leave my car open sometimes with my key inside. It's funny, isn't it? But you can't do that in South Africa. But living here is so nice. It's just freedom, all right? Where everything in South Africa you have to lock up the whole time and look behind your shoulder. It's a different environment. But yeah, we are thoroughly into our camping. We've got a camper and a caravan and swags and fishing rods, and the lifestyle is just absolutely so nice. We've been threatening a lot to go back and visit, but there's so much to explore in Australia. There's just no time for us to go visit South Africa. So we encourage all our friends and family to now come here for a visit. Come, we want to show you the great life we have here. It's amazing. So no,
Now,
we enjoy.
now, do you want to talk about specifically, because the first 10 minutes cut off, and I don't know if I'm going to use it or not just because of the audio, but do you want to just circle back around to, as a franchisee, why should someone become a franchisee of gyms? You talked about it earlier, but just for people, again, what's the benefits to it? And you mentioned something which is really relatable to a lot of people, is being made redundant. I think which happens, unfortunately, to a lot of people. But sometimes it can be a really good thing. Like in your situation, it made you do the gym's franchise. So maybe you want to talk about those couple of points.
Yeah, okay. You see, WA has got a very big mining um, uh, economy here. So they always go through boom and bust. Okay, so the boom we're going through at the moment is not a significant boom like we had, 10 years ago, but it's more a sustainable growth. So there's still an enormous amount of expansion going on. So large companies hire. People fly in from Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales, over the world during the boom. But when the boom is over, these companies have to get rid of people again. All right. So this is why redundancies happen. So up and down. So on the end of the day, I realize I'm just a number. Yeah. And in employment, I'm enjoying a salary. The salary is basically, this is your ceiling. You get your salary and you live it out. The best part for me about the franchise was the guidance how to do it. Okay, because you can look into, for example, hey, I want to start a mowing business. Anyone can cut a lawn, but once you've gone through the training about how to really cut a lawn, that's a different ball game. And same with my businesses, building inspections and pest control. I coach franchisees today by saying, what you put in is what you get out. Now, what you put in and what you get out to get out is quite a big spectrum there, because Jim is a massive advocate about quality of service. All right, and if you provide an absolute quality of service, your business will just keep growing, because this is where we're going with this fast growing economy, Joel. People don't want to, get clean their houses themselves anymore, or do their lawns, or clean the pool, right? I mean, at my house, I'm a busy guy looking after quite a big few portfolios. Plus, I've got an extremely busy social life. So I've got a Jim's pool guy looking after my pool. I've got a Jim's mowing guy doing my lawn. I've got a Jim's cleaning guy doing the house and stuff. And it's not just because I want to support gyms. It's because we're busy and we want to get stuff done. All right. So if you want to be a franchisee, your mindset has to be about how good am I going to provide the service. And you'll never look back. You just simply never will look back. The fundamental thing, though, what I've learned is, and I had a few South Africans in my franchise group as well. Some do struggle to follow systems because it's not a big thing in South Africa. All right, you simply can get a headache in the morning. So I'm starting a fish and chip shop on the corner, and you can set it up. There's no regulations, and some people dip over the tax, and they find a way to do it. Over here in a franchise, you have to absolutely abide by the systems and processes if you want to make a success. Just don't ignore it. Follow the system, provide a really good service, and you will win all the way.
What do you think stops a lot of people then? So a lot of people might listen to this who investigating becoming a franchisee, who are the employees who have that cap level. What do you think stops people from doing the jump? Because you're sort of forced to do the jump because of the redundancy, and you've never looked back. So what do you think stops people doing that transition from that employee to the business owner mindset?
in my experience with lots and lots and lots of interviews and my leadership and everything, I hands down say to you, it's about fear. It's people are scared to do it. It's risk. Now, business is risk, of course it is, but you got to overcome that fear. You got to basically just absolutely take the risk and get your family behind you to support you, because the fear is, if you never run a business before, the fear is about, okay, but where's the money going to come from? You know, I've got to pay my bills, I've got to pay the house, I've got to pay the cars. Those responsibilities and accountabilities doesn't go away. You know, by having a job and you have your salary every month, it's comfort, mate. Absolute comfort. You step out of that comfort, and now you are accountable to make sure that money is there. The great thing about our whole model is we've got that pay for work guarantee. All right. That helps. You know, people come in and say, "Oh, you see, you guarantee the $6,000," which we now, with building inspection, increasing to $8,000 hopefully soon. Because I said that guarantee is actually just helping with that fear. All right, there's got guaranteed income. People ask me about it. How does it work? I say, well, two things. Number one is we've got to select really well, and then we've got to train well. And if we do those both really well, that $8,000 or $6,000 paperwork guarantee it's a no-brainer. It's no issue because you are going to exceed that. You're going to make more than that. So you got to find a way to get rid of the fear. Talk to people that can help you. Talk to a franchisor that's absolutely in a mindset to help you and set you up for success, and just make it happen.
That's a great point. I'm glad you mentioned the pay for it guarantee. That's what I was going to mention about the safety thing, right? So that's what we have our thing. And a thing as well, people need to know it's not just a money incentive. It's there actually to help you build your business. So you do business building activities that will hopefully build your network and your referral network. And it's designed to, obviously, if you do need it, it's there. But
Yeah.
most people, as you know from your experience, do not need it at all.
100% right. If you do every day what you need to do, I mean, we've got so much coaching. I've built that 13-week training program with just a lot of marketing stuff in it, and it's all just ideas about how you actually promote yourself. If you promote yourself, you build your network, you go out in your network and let people know about you, mate, every day. And don't worry about the money. That will just happen. That happens behind the scenes. You just got to put in a hard yards. And just do what you need to do, follow the systems, follow the advice, reach out to your franchisor on a regular basis, and they will help you.
And earning potential, Manny, everyone always asks how much are we going to make? So maybe do you want to, from your perspective, give an answer or give some sort of guidance on that question we always get.
I love that question, and it comes up in every conversation you have with someone, and it's sometimes you wish you can sell. You can tell people about the successful guys in the business, but I don't want to really give them that picture at all. You know yourself, Joel. We've got lots of millionaires out there, but I say to people, there's only one thing: what you put in is what you get out. All right. If you want to make $5,000 a month, is that what you want to achieve? If that's your ambition, you can make $5,000 a month. If you want to earn $50,000 a month, just put a good business plan together and put all the efforts in, and you can do it. All right. There's no ceiling. Nothing stops you. Nothing stops you from putting on one vehicle on the road or 50 vehicles on the road. Nothing stops you from growing your franchise. You can grow it as big as you want. So, what is your ambition? Is how much you're going to earn. What you put in is what you get out. I stop with that. All right. I have a really good way to explain it. It's like running a marathon. You get guys that plan 2 years to run this marathon, and when it comes, those guys will end up in the top three. Okay. But you also have guys that heard about this marathon and maybe put about a half a year or a year's exercise into it and planning into it. Yep, they all here in the middle pack. And then closer to that marathon kicking off, people are here on a journey, and some of them will hear a week or 2 or 3 about this marathon, didn't plan for it whatsoever. That's the guys right at the bottom, finishing last, and some of them actually getting injured on the way. It's a really good way to explain what you put in is what you get out. If you really want to finish and win in the top 10, it's a lot of hard work to do that. Make sense?
Absolutely. Now with the work available, how much work is there available? Is there something where they need to go out and get leads, or maybe you want to talk about just the amount of work that's available in your area?
Service industry is is a very fast growing industry, and all of our divisions is based on services. All right. Now, the more vehicles we have on the road, the more franchisees we have providing a 5-star service. All right. The more work we generate. It just naturally keeps growing. All right. So a lot of people ask the question, but how much work is out there? It's about how much work you generate. Absolutely, how much you generate, because it is 25 million people, correct me if I'm wrong, across Australia. All right. We've got 5,000 franchisees across 52 different services. Man, I don't think we scratch the surface. There's a lot of people with needs, and with this fast-growing economy, like I said before, service industry just keeps growing. People want their houses clean. People want their lawns mowed. People want their pools clean. People just because we've got the best knowing household name, gyms. Everyone knows gyms. Yeah, some people joke about gyms, but let them joke, because on the end of the day, we've got thousands of extremely happy franchisees. And if they do the proper networking and promoting themselves, work just keeps coming.
Absolutely. Now, do you want to take us back to your training experience, Manny? So for anyone who doesn't know the training experience and what's involved, do you want to maybe just tell them about Gyms Group training and what your thoughts about it were?
Yeah, I was my 3 days in generic training. It was in, like I said, October 2015. I'll never forget it. My first time ever visiting Melbourne, Victoria. So yeah, flew in, got booked a really nice flash car by Paul Comerford, drove into to Foothills, and I was amazed. It is this big facility, great accommodation, and for 3 days I couldn't stop eating. The food was just enormous, fantastic. And the training started like every morning, like 8 o'clock, and finishes at 5. And the days went like this, because you sit there and you just listen to every speaker, and they've got so much to give you. And a lot of the things, if you've been around the block for a bit, a lot of the stuff is reminders, all right, about how to do bookkeeping and how to do accounting. I mean, that was, for some people that would be extremely boring, but because you know it. But it's a reminder. Hey, this is the things you've got to do. So no, that 3 days was about, and gym sessions. The 3 days is about what's the principles about running a business successfully. And gym sessions, are quality, 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 quality. It doesn't stop, does it? And now today, 7.5 years later, man, I've seen it. If franchisees drop below 4.6 star ratings, they're not going to last. How do you tell them? It's hard to tell them. But what you take away from that 3 day generic training, I mean, I get franchisees coming back now, and they pumped. They said it's the best thing ever. You know, um, Obviously after that, all the other training starts about the different services and division specific stuff. But I think the foundation is that 3 days. Everyone meet Jim in person. He talks for several hours at the start and at the finish, and everyone just want to shake his hand at the end. It's such a great experience.
Yeah, it's hard to describe to people, which is why we've done a lot of videos on it so people can actually see it. But yeah, it's I don't think anyone can compete. There's obviously I've never been through other franchise systems trainings, but I definitely know there's no facility like this in Australia. There definitely isn't. So in the services industry, there is nothing.
There
So
is no,
I don't know how anyone could compete on the training, but you're right but even though it's a lot of effort to come from Perth or to come from interstate to the training at Mooroolbark, it's just so much better because you have that connection. You get to meet Jim, as you said. So Jim's really personal. He'll talk to you. He'll take photos and all that sort of stuff. But you just, as you said, you get indoctrinated with that Jim's ethos, and they're all pumped to go and give good customer service. And the ones who take the training in really do well and succeed.
yeah. And what's also very powerful is that moment in a room. I mean, we just had a training session last week. 126 people there. That is just phenomenal. So you're in a room with this vibe about over 100 people taking the same journey. All right. At the end of the journey, they're all pumped. They're absolutely on the right mindset about, yes, this is my business. Look at the support you get. Look at the professional training we put behind them. Our mission is really set you up for success, isn't it? That's what we want. And I know I said it to Jim one day. I mean, I say it to my franchisees too. I get a thrill if I see someone make a success. I'm ecstatic if I see them make a success. It's so good. I remember I've got a guy. Once names or what division he was a truck driver. All right, and I remember how I pushed him from $6,000 a month to $8,000, and by the time he got to $12,000 a month, he said to me, "Man, you're hard to please." I said, "No, no, no, you're not pleasing me. You're pleasing yourself. Just I know what you're capable of." And this guy's making a lot of money today. He's got more than one vehicle on the road. He loves his business. All right, it's a great journey, Joel.
It's such a good point, Manny, as you said. Like that's just one success story in your region, but just because I just want to get we're harping on the South African folks. Do you have many South African people in your region, or
I've got a really good mix.
yeah?
I've got Indians, Australians, people from the UK, and yes, I've got quite a few South Africans. And yeah, they everyone doesn't matter. There's no culture I can put above others and say one is easier to work with. You get into the mindset when you're a business coach, you can work with anyone and everyone. Um, but it's great to see people coming from countries where they really struggle. I mean, India in specific as well, and South Africans they struggle there and they come here and they kick off their franchises and they put in a hard yard and they make a success. So yeah, I've got quite a few.
Yeah, because the reason I was asked that because we got with our training program that we're going to do, and they can do the courses and stuff. A lot will be hopefully, a lot will be probably in your WA region. So it's just more about encouraging him and saying, well, yeah, if you come and join gyms in WA, you're most likely going to deal with Manny and obviously other franchisees who are your fellow countrymen and women as well. So you're going to come to a really warm reception if they do decide to make the decision to come.
Yeah, that's right. I believe I'm the only franchisor in WA that's got offices here. So yeah, franchisees from all sorts. During the COVID times, I was actually offering the training here. So that was fantastic because I met basically franchisees from bookkeeping and mowing and fencing and everyone from everywhere, and they keep in touch with me. So it's all about networking, isn't it? So yeah, most likely if they end up in Perth, I'll probably meet them. I'd love to, do events where we can get all the franchisees together. My year-end function last year was fencing and handyman, pest control and building inspections there. So it was great. So the bigger the team, the better.
I want to talk about real quickly again the redundancy thing because redundancy sucks. Like it's be really bad kick in the guts. How did you find about gyms, and do you view that redundancy now as probably maybe one of the best things that's happened to you? So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I had a good role, but for 5 years before that redundancy, Rio Tinto was basically going through a restructuring every year, and we didn't quite expect it because I mean I was working in the office of the CIO at the time. Phenomenal role. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was such a good role, and my role was also about people and systems and processes. It was so good. So when the redundancy was announced, it was a kick in the guts. You're 100% right. It's horrible. You feel like, okay, what's next? What do you want to do? But for my mindset straight away, I said, no, it's. I don't like how WA, go through ups and downs. I mean, I want to I want to settle down on doing one thing. Look at me, I'm going 7.5 years now, and I've got no intention to stop tomorrow. I want to do the same thing and enjoy it now. And that's why when it happened, I just decided I was busy with my MBA and I decided to finish that. And in that time, basically search what is available. So I went to see a lot of business brokers. I looked at so many things. And one day my wife was like, "Are you ever going to work again?" I said, "Yeah, I am. I'm busy searching." And then I had to break the news to her, but I'm going to do my own thing. And I said to her, I just need your support. I just trust me and believe me. And she did. And then she said, okay, but what do you want to do? I said, well, something in the building industry. Um, and then she helped me, and we found this building inspector. This is how we found building inspector. She found it first. She said, oh, look at Jim's just doing it. Then, yeah, that's how the journey started. But yeah, I'm still at the point I would never work for a boss ever again, because now I plan my own life, Joel. I've got a very, very, very busy life. I've got the most amazing kids, and we like the outdoors. I like to go fishing when I want. I want to go do my four-wheel driving when I want. I like to buy my toys. I've got a lot of toys, and we play around and do stuff. And employment, I couldn't do that. So I think that redundancy was hard at the time it happened, but it's the best thing ever. So yeah, thanks, Redundancy. You did a great thing for me.
Do you think it's one of those things we talked about it before? But you're right. Like there's people who get comfortable in that employment, so they're comfortable in that thing, and it's almost like they just need that forced push to then go and do what you're doing. And then, as you said, you've never looked back and you never go work for someone else again because you know how good it can be.
Yeah, and mate, even at the time when I started my own thing, I was earning a really good stupid salary at Rio. I thought, man, if I can just earn what I've earned, but now I earn 10 times more now, and it just keeps growing and gets better, and you learn every day, but it's great. I don't think I've learned so much in my career with Rio that I'm learning now that I work for myself. Um, my wife did say though, you keep changing your mind. I said, yeah, but in business, it's green zone. you know, you try something. Oh no, that doesn't work. You change your mind, go somewhere else. But that's the opportunities, mate. So it's so good.
Cool. And let's circle back to the start again because we got a really good sound now. So I'm sorry to do this because the first 10 minutes was a bit sounded like you're underwater. So I just want to start off with it again real quickly, Manny, just with your introduction to gyms and your journey from across to South Africa and maybe the reasons why you decided to come to Australia and just how that's been for your life ever since.
Yeah. Like I work for myself a little bit in South Africa, Joel, and I was busy buying a business, and we we basically came to reality that it's going to be tough to run a business in South Africa, and I was worried about my kids. My oldest son was born in '99, and in 2002, I just said to my wife, we've got to look at immigration, and we looked at United States and Canada and England, New Zealand and Australia, and for various reasons we decided Australia. I've got to throw in the mix there. People ask me today why did you end up at Perth? I said, well, we were on this plane for hours and hours and hours, and I went to the cockpit and I said to the pilot, "Yep, that will do." But anyway, it's about research that we ended up here. Um, 2002, it was a 3-year process to get our visa. We finally got an immigration visa. We went to see an immigration lawyer at first, and he was going through a lot of options, ending up in regional jobs, regional locations and stuff, doing a 457 visa. We went to another migration agent, and he said to my wife at the time, you've got a skills and demand qualification, and he helped us with that qualification, get it assessed, get it through the process, and the whole visa award process took about 3 years. And on that journey, as we got closer, we had to sell the properties and assets and get everything sorted. It's a really, really tough journey to pack up everything, all your belongings, and go somewhere where you know absolutely no one. So yeah, that was not easy. I believe it's easier today. There's so much more opportunities, but back in the day, we landed here in 2005, and I had to find a job. My wife was pregnant, young son plus the pregnant girl, and I had to find a job. I worked as a trades assistant, my first job, earning $25 an hour, but I was just willing to do anything, anything to feed my family. All right, but look where we are today, the best journey ever.
Yeah, and it's just as you said, it's that you had so much. Obviously, there would have been so much fear and trepidation, and you could have stayed maybe comfortable, but you took that decision. As you said, look where you are now. It's just one of those things, making yourself uncomfortable to get that growth, and you've got the rewards for it now.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So so we talked about it real quickly. Hopefully it didn't get cut off again, but large South African population in WA. WA does have the best beaches, in my opinion, as well in Australia. So everyone can talk about Queensland and stuff, but I think WA with the coastline up from north, if you want, go up north to Exmouth or Carnarvon, that area, or you can go down south to Esperance and into Albany and stuff like that. Maybe do you want to describe for people real quickly just how beautiful WA is? It's something that it's not when people think of Australia, they think of Sydney or they think of Great Barrier Reef or something, but the coast of WA, I think, is some of the best in the world.
Oh, mate, no. I hope you can stop me talking now, but because we're in outdoors and nature and camping, all that stuff, we thoroughly enjoy the WA beaches and the forward driving and the fishing. It is just, you know, in South Africa we had all the wild parks, and I said to you, the best of the world. The Big Five and the animals and the Kruger Park, and you can go up to Africa and go to Serengeti. Over here, we've got koalas and kangaroos and all sorts of sizes of rats and stuff. But the beaches is beautiful. So we've got a small hobby farm down in Margaret River, and it is, I'm telling you, the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place on the planet. And as you go up north, like you said, past Geraldton, all on your way to Exmouth, the coastline, the beaches, it's just phenomenal. So yeah, I bought a big boat, and I started fishing, and the fishing life is phenomenal, mate. So, and then me and my boys absolutely love to go with four-wheel drives onto the beaches. So many places you can go, and we get to places where it's just us. This is unheard of in South Africa. I think last I've heard was, I don't know, 50 or maybe 60 million people in South Africa, which fits a few times in WA, and we've got only like a population of 2 million people here in WA. So you can go to places where you are completely remote, 100% remote. There's just no one there. It is amazing. And that's just WA. And you look at the whole of Australia. I mean, I've got many friends at the moment busy touring around Australia. They do a year or 2 year lap with the caravan stuff. We bought our caravan and we've got a car rigged, and we're just waiting for the right moment. To actually do a lap around Australia, because it is so beautiful. I've seen, luckily for WA, all the way from Utah, where we border South Australia. I've seen it all the way from there, all the way up to Kununurra on a project that I did for Telstra in 2006. And it's the most beautiful places. Now, Queensland as well, and Victoria, the places that we've been, and we love Cairns in Queensland. There's so many beautiful, beautiful places. You can't stop talking about it.
Did you imagine it was going to be like this when you came? Because obviously you might have known a little bit about Australia, but has it exceeded your expectations where you are currently? Because it's a pretty amazing journey. 37, a new baby on the way, like very uncertain times, and you've made that really courageous decision to come here. And now you've got hobby farm in Margaret River, which is one of the best wine regions in the world, and you've got your four drives, your boats, you've got all this massive business now. Like it's a very good credit to you, and it just shows you that one decision, or that really courageous decision you make, and look at the reward you've got from it.
Yeah, it comes back to the point. I will never stop talking about what you put in is what you get out, Joel. Anything you do in life, I did the same in Rio Tinto. In 2008, I built Rio Tinto's first remote operations center, and I got awarded that project because of my ability to run a project and make a success of it. And during the GFC, that was pretty much the only project Rio Tinto had on their books at the time. So for me to start my own journey and my own business is about, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I put in. I know I work really, really hard. And success, I mean, look at Jim. I mean, everyone look up to Jim, what he started. He started with $24 in his pocket mowing lawns, okay? And look where he is today. He built it up because, I work hard, and I still look at Jim and say, where does he get time for everything he's doing? And I'm flat out the whole time too. People ask me the same thing, Manny, where do you get time for everything? I think I remember my dad used to say, if you want something done, you give it to a busy man. And because if you get to the mindset, I don't use the words I don't have time. You make time for something. So yes, I build up a lot, and I'm on the same page with Jim's view about retirement. To me, I will never be able to retire. It's a word people use. To me, if I have to retire, I don't know, man. That will be a terrible thing to do for me. But I want to stay busy. So yeah, Jim has got this enormous business he built because of his passion. And I think passion is such a great word, but if you really, really practice passion, nothing can stop you, Joel. You can reach anything in any job or any business. You can reach it if you just stay positive, mix with positive people, and just stay positive and passionate about what you're doing.
Now, if someone wants to learn more about becoming a franchisee, what do you recommend they do? There's two angles here. There's obviously people who are currently in WA or in Australia. What can they do to learn more about becoming a franchisee?
Well, go to gyms.net, their website. We've got 52 divisions there. All right. Have a look at what interests you, or if you know already what interests you. All right. Um, Call 131546 and say, hey, this is where I live. I want to become a building inspector or a mowing franchisee or a fencing franchisee or a pest control franchisee. And the call center will put you in contact with the nearest franchisor or the franchisor that owns that area. The franchisors are treating every prospect that comes through as an inquiry like we treat our clients as a franchisee. You call immediately. You call as quick as you can. Over the phone, I'm gonna normally asking a few questions, and then I set up an interview straight away. All right, we make sure you have an info pack with all the information, what you need, and it's a journey. It's a journey about making sure this is what you want, but we also make sure we select the right people that's gonna make a success of it. We really, really want you to be successful. That's the 50% of our selection. But yeah, don't hesitate. If you think about doing something for yourself, don't hesitate because you're going to regret the time you waste to make that move. If you have that passion in you about doing something for yourself, all I'm saying is what you put in is what you get out, and do everything as best as you can. You will never look back.
Good man, Manny. Thank you for your time today. I know you're a busy person, so you're giving us 50 minutes of your time, so appreciate that. And yeah, it's a great success story in gyms, and it's really, we're trying to really encourage now people with this international pathway program to do what you've done, but hopefully make it a lot easier in regards to what you had to go through in regards to do it here. And they're going to come here and do the training program, and hopefully at the end of it end up with the gyms business. So yeah, thank you very much for your time and sharing your story.
No, it's absolute pleasure, Joel. And at the end, I just want to say, look, you know me for a long time. I have a big passion to help people. So if you guys have anyone that wants to just talk to someone, feel free to send my details. I'm happy to have a chat with anyone that's interested in making a journey.
Thank you very much, Manny.
Thank you, Joel.
Ta.